Okay, cool. Live stream. Yes. All right. Hey, this video, the Micro-FEs Simplified, did really, really well for me. It was great. Great to see a lot of folks checking it out and perhaps taking a look at Module Federation for the first time. And I kind of like the topic for sure. It's my local growler place. I've done a lot of videos in 2020 using the Pokemon data set, and I'm like, oh man, I just got to get out of that. Like, I'm bored with Pokemon. So I actually picked up, unfortunately they're temporary closed, but COVID. So I picked up the data from this. This is an iframe with the let's see, with a tap list, and then I wrote some here. Let me bring that up in a new window or new tab. Yeah, there you go. I actually wrote some Deno code that went and scraped this. It's actually pretty cool. Yeah, it's actually kind of a weird layout, but anyway, I like the content here. So, like, for example, you get a nice image like this, and then you get the percentage of stuff available. You get some interesting stuff about the percentage of alcohol, I guess, and the what is it? IBU. What is IBU? Okay, what does IBU mean? International Bitterness Unit. How bitter it is. I actually don't drink beer, but I do drink like CB soda, and they tend to stock that. So yeah. Anyway, and if you, by the way, hi Moideen, good to see you. And there's your red Ducati back there. Let's make it big so you can see it. So feel free to change that out. Man, if craft beer inoculated me against COVID, I would go and drink a lot of beer. Believe me. Yeah. So, okay. Anyway, I think a much more interesting data set. So let's go have some fun with this. The starter point that we're going to use is the Micro-FEs Simplified starter. And we're going to go and use, well, let's just bring that up and see where we get to with it. Let's go back over here to our terminal, go into TMP, and then we'll de-get that, and we'll call it, I don't know, beer versus COVID. Working on a trend there. All right, let's go into beer versus COVID and bring up our. Oh wait, we're gonna need a bunch of that. Okay, so actually, let me go make a new one called beer versus COVID 2, a host or something like that, and then we're gonna move beer versus COVID because. Whoa! Wow, that was weird. Move beer versus COVID to beer versus COVID host. And we're going to call this growlers because we're actually going to go and share these applications. And I kind of need to have 3 running by the end of all this. So yeah, good to see you, Vishal. Thanks for showing up. Thanks for showing up on a Saturday. Everybody should tell me what they got for the holidays. Got to see friends and family or got some cool gifts. Let me know. That Ducati back there, my daughter got that for me for Christmas. First time she's ever got me Legos. Kind of cool with her own money. That was awesome. She's off at college now, and she's wisely spending money on giving her old man Legos, which makes no sense. But it's cool, and it is a cool one. By the way, if you want to, you can go over onto the Blue Collar Coder Discord channel, like Mohadeen over here, and he is changing the color of the hue lights that show off the Ducati by just giving it a name. So in this case, he's done orange, and it kind of ended up being like a pale. I wouldn't call that an orange. It's not. I don't know. Is that orange? Yeah. Okay. I think it is reflecting off the green of the wall and not doing all that well. Anyway. Nice. Hey man, if I had a Ducati out the window, that'd be awesome. Okay. So, oh wait. Oh man. Okay, whatever. Jeez Louise. I'm just gonna move this up here. Oh wait, that's the same. Okay. Okay. It already is its own starting point. So I'm getting off topic here. Let's get on to off of Ducatis and growlers and on to micro front ends, which is what we're here to do today. So yeah. It's yeah. All right. So let's take a look at what our application is. Okay, and I'll just yarn start that from here. Okay, so we've got across here, we got basically three different components. We've got a search component, a taps component, and a cart component that will, well, you know what? I'll make this a little easier on us, and I think I've got the completed code, like one of those chef shows over in a different window. I'll bring that up. TMP Micro-FEs. Wow, you're not going to complete for me? That's just mean. TMP Micro-FEs simplified. Done. There it is. Okay. So let's let me go. I'll show that to you as well. Just so nothing up my sleeve on this one. Just so we can get a sense of what this is going to look like by the end. Oh, it would be good to actually yarn all that. Is it possible to do MF with... So when you say MFs, do you mean micro-front-ends or do you mean module federation? In both cases, the answer is yes, but it might be nice to, Allie, an answer to your question. So let's bring up... you think the bot's died? Oh, the bot has died. That's right. Yeah, sorry. I don't know why. Okay. Give me a second and I'll start the bot back up. Okay. So here's the Micro-FEs. A very classic thing in Micro-FE demos is to put everything in like the Micro-FEs themselves in like a dashed border. So basically we've got this list of all of the different taps that I showed before, and you can change the amount of alcohol and make it more alcohol, I guess, or less alcohol. And let's see. So now that I've got that, I can actually type in a search field 0 and kind of hone in on that. In addition, I can add to cart, and it can add to cart multiple times, and then I can clear the cart, and there you go. So that's basically, would be a host, right? Would be one application. And then the idea is that you have other applications. In this case, there actually is a company that does that kind of growler vendor, like tap list thing. And they would want the local stores that would use their tap list to be able to show that tap list. So hold on, host React. And I'm going to yarn that one as well. What's our folder structure again? And do we have to copy the starter to each? No. So, okay, the folder structure at the top level is going to be growlers and then 2 host applications, host React and host vanilla. And so there we go. Let's start that up. And one more thing about this, you don't actually have to use different, you can use module federation across applications that are on, not in the same directory at all or anything like that. I know there's been a lot of questions about like, hey, does it have to be a mono repo or any of that? Yeah. So you don't have to do that. Identify an issue with module federation, imports React testing library. Oh, okay. Somehow MF modules fail to load when testing library. Oh, interesting. Okay. Yeah. You want to look, Vishal, you're going to want to look at the Webpack configuration to make sure that whatever you've got shared, you're not bringing in the, it sounds like what you've got is that your React testing library is in the hard dependencies and you're just bringing in all the hard dependencies. You want to make sure that you're only bringing in that your testing library is in dev dependencies. I do have a Vue example for module federation, and I am planning on redoing this video with Vue. In fact, if you want to help out with that, let me know, because I want to make sure that like when I'm doing Valshio in this one, I'm not quite sure about the state management solution that I want to use in Vue, so I'd love to talk to you about that. Okay, so we have another application here, and the cool thing is that we're reusing all of these components, and they work exactly the same way, right? And also another cool thing is we're actually getting this extra stuff down here, and this component is actually in only the React host application, and it gets, but it's connected to the same data set as everything else. So that's actually something new that I haven't seen in any other Micro-FE solution, is the ability to integrate the host application, this would be a host application, with the data that's actually backing the Micro-FEs. So it's a much deeper level of integration, and it's really cool. So yeah. All right. Let me do a couple of things before we get going here. I want to shut this down, but I want to keep it off to the side, and I want to go bring our Lightbot back because everybody likes the Lightbot. So let's go and Lightbot. Oh, no, not Node. Not Node, Jack. Okay, there we go. Let's fire up NodeBot again, or Lightbot again to keep going. Okay. So now that I've confused us all by having two nested levels of directories there, let me go and fix that up real quick, just so we can not confuse ourselves. So I'm going to move growlers to like a TMP, move TMP growlers to dot, and then remove TMP. Okay, that's better. Fine, whatever. Okay, so now here we go. Okay, this is better. So let's go into growlers, and now we're gonna go take a look at how this is actually gonna, well, the first thing we need to do is wire this all up. So we've got some components. We've got beverage card, and hold on, let me turn off notifications here. I'm getting overwhelmed by notifications. And I want to spend my time with y'all talking about this stuff. Okay, so we've got a beverage card that shows a beverage. We've got the cart that's actually going to, it's just the cart. And these three, cart, search, and taps, are Micro-FEs. And they use the Chakra UI, nice little UI toolkit, very similar in the style to Tailwind. And at least in terms of the Growlers app, these are then imported onto the main page with a little bit of styling. And then we use Chakra Provider, which is just for the CSS. We use their simple grid function, which is just a nice layout function. And then we bring in that search, taps, and cart. So there you go. So what we need to do is implement the state sharing between all of these. So I'm going to use a state manager system that you might not be familiar with called Valtio. And the reason that I'm going to use Valtio is because it's one of the few state providers that I've worked with that doesn't require a provider at the top level. So the interface that I want from my Micro-FEs is I want to be able to have the Micro-FE consumers just do this. Like, I just want to import, search or taps or cart and just drop them on my page. I don't want to have to import anything else in terms of like a provider and then have to put that at the top of my my UI, of my React tree, because I think that's going to go in and it's like an extra thing that has to be done, and it's like it's exposing the infrastructure that I require to my consumers, and I think that's ugh. So I don't want to do that. So I'm going to go and in Growlers, I'm going to add Valtio. And it's as easy as that. And there's no React Valtio or whatever. It's all just Valtio. And I'm going to go create a store. And then I'm going to import proxy from Valtio. And proxy is how we create the store. So we're creating a proxy object, and then we use proxy in the other components, and there you go. So the first thing I need to do is import the definition of a beverage. So that's over here in types. So I'm going to bring that in, import beverage from types. And then I'm going to go define my store. So what was my store going to look like? Interface, beverage store or I store. And it's going to have a list of all the taps that are available. It's going to have a list of all the taps that have been filtered. So when we change out, for example, well, all right, when we make the changes to the sliders and all that, we want those to show up. Valshio reminds me of the little state machine. Okay. It is. It's very little, actually. It's mostly just a wrapper around proxy compare. And I'm not sure. Somebody mentioned in one of the in one of the comments in one of the videos, it might not work on IE11. I don't know or not know that it does that works or doesn't work on IE11. Thankfully, I don't actually have an IE11 instance lying around anywhere that I can check. We're gonna have the search text, which is gonna be a string. We're gonna have the alcohol level, I guess. Alcohol. I always get misspelled this. Alcohol level number. Is there anything else I need? I don't think so. I think that's... Oh, we need the cart. Yeah, there we go. Okay, so that's going to be our store. So how do we make that store? Well, we use const. We say we want a store. We're going to use proxy. Going to give it the store. As with all these state managers nowadays, are all written in TypeScript, and so they're very nice to TypeScript. And let's see. Taps is going to start off as nothing. Filter taps is going to start off as nothing. Search text is going to be an empty string. Alcohol level is going to be, I don't know, 10. Is that a lot of alcohol? I don't even know. It's been so long since I drank beer. Okay. And then the last thing we need to do is export the store. So let's export that. Cool. Let's see if this works. I'm just going to start it up and see if it doesn't, blow up or anything. Probably won't blow up because nothing's importing it. So yeah. Okay. And let's go over here to taps, and I'm going to go and import that store. Import the store from the store. And then I'm also going to bring in use proxy from Valshio. So over here we got import proxy. That's how you create one of these things. And then over here, there's use proxy, and that's how you consume one of these things. Pretty easy, pretty symmetrical. Me likeys. Okay, so what do we need to do? We need to say filtered taps, I guess, is what we want. And we use the proxy, and then we give it, I think we give it the store. Can we give it the store? Wait, it's been a little bit. Let me just make sure. Hold on. Yeah, there you go. That's easy enough. Okay, now because this is a starter kit, this is really meant for this. So all I need to do is just change out that empty array with the array of filtered taps. So yeah, there you go. In addition, there's also some data. This is the data that I got my Deno scraper to get, basically grab all that HTML from that page, and there we go. Wow. Oh, level. That's the level of the barrel, I guess. That's kind of cool. And then there's the logo, that kind of stuff. So it's pretty easy. This actually lines up exactly with this guy over here. Okay. So the first thing we're going to want to do is go and fetch that data, because otherwise we won't have anything to filter or any of that. So I'm going to create a new exposed function called load that takes a client, which is a string. And let's see, I don't think it should do anything. I mean, well, it shouldn't return anything. And then we're just going to fetch. And I'm going to use an absolute URL for this. So localhost 8080, and then hv tap list.json. Oops, hello. That's not what I wanted. hv tap list. There you go. Okay. So that's cool. So let's go grab that. And the reason I'm using an absolute URL here is because this is going to then get embedded in another application. And so it's going to need to make basically a CORS request from localhost 8081, which would be the React host and localhost 8082, which would be the vanilla host, and go and get that data. So it needs to be an absolute URL. Okay, so you give it the name of the client, in this case, HV tab list, and then it goes and gets the data. It's going to first get a response, convert that to JSON, and then with that data, and this is the cool part of Valshio. I just love this. So so all we need to do to set the tabs is literally say data like that. That's literally all you need to do. And because that's going to match, oh, and then we also need to run a filter on it. So I'm just going to create a filter function. And this function is basically just going to go and run the current filter parameters on the taps. So store.filterTaps equals store.taps. And then we're going to filter. Let's see. First, we're going to filter by alcohol. Well, I guess we could just filter by both, really. So that we have a... Let's see. What do we have? We have the name, and we have the ABV, which is the alcohol. So name. Is that right? And alcohol by volume, I guess. That's kind of cool. And the first thing we need to do is check to see if the name matches the search text. So name.to lowercase dot includes, I guess, store dot search text to lowercase. There we go. And let's see, the alcohol by volume is less than or equal to the store alcohol level. Okay, there we go. So there you go. So filter taps takes nothing. Our filter takes nothing. And there we go. So now we have our filter. Cool. Module federation is used to write micro-frontends. Am I right? Yes. Well, I mean, it's one of many uses, but yes. If you could please briefly describe the difference between MF and MF. All right, hold on. And also is to micro-frontends as Redux is to React state management. It's one way to do it. Robot, thank you. That's an excellent response. Yes. A very, very solid, well-respected micro-frontend library is Single SPA, because it not only allows you to take parts of an application and put it onto other applications, but it also does the work of actually normalizing the Vue platform. So you can take a Vue component and put it on a React page, a React component, put it on a Vue page, and vice versa. I mean, all the different combinations. And by default, Single SPA uses System.js to get the data moving, get the code moving from one place to another. But module federation has become another way of doing it. So it really depends on what you want. If you want just micro-frontend, if you just want to take a React component and use it in another React app, then you can just use module federation. If you want to take a Vue component and put it in a React app, then you'd want to use Single SPA in addition to module federation, if that makes any sense. Okay, so here we go. We're going to bring in this load over in app. From the store. And then we're going to load the Happy Valley tab list. Okay. Oh, whoa, nice. Okay. So, hey, cool. Our system has got a lot going on here. So we're getting some taps. We can't add to cart yet. We can't check out, but we got some good data coming through. So what's happening is that we do this load. Here, I'll show it to you without it. So there you go, without it. With it. Okay, so there we go. And that load is then running that fetch, getting that data, setting up the taps, and then running the filter on the data. And it looks like I got my filter right. So yay. Okay, so the next thing I want to do is implement these two guys over here. And let's take a look. Let's create a set search text. Next would be a string, returns void. And then we're going to set the search text to that string. And once again, run the filter. And I'm going to do the same thing for the alcohol. Set alcohol level. There we go. Okay. And it's okay. How about, I don't know, what is it? Alcohol limit or something? Which is a number. And we'll set that. Did I get that right? Alcohol level. Sure. Okay. That looks good. Okay, let's give that a try. So where is that being done? That's being done over in the search component right here. So we need to go and bring in our store. Let's go do that. And we're over in search. Okay, cool. And we also need to bring in that use proxy. Let's go do that. Big fan of copy and paste in videos and in general. Okay. So from this one, we're going to bring in the search text, and we're going to bring in the alcohol level. And we're also going to bring in from the store, we're going to bring in set search text and set alcohol level. Okay. So let's do these one at a time. So this is the input field. We're going to just set the value to the search text. Oops, not to that. Search text. There you go. Why would it select that one? And then we're going to add a change handler. It's going to take the event. Let's get this nice and okay, you're not going to be nice to me. All right. And we're going to then set search text. Oops. To the, wow, that's interesting. Event target value. Okay, let's try that one. So this should now work. Let's see, revision, nope. Okay, looks like things are changing, but let me see what's going on with that. Okay, it's probably in here. I'm gonna guess. All right. And if this gets long in the tooth, I'm just going to go and grab that because it really does make a difference. All right. Rev. Okay, looks like we're getting the right data in. It's just not doing the filter properly. So let me grab the filter and use that. I just sort of made that one up on the fly. Let's see. Oh, I know what it was. I used the wrong value here. It's a beverage name. Yeah, okay. And alcohol level. There you go. So in this case, I'm going to use a regex on this. And there you go. All right, let's try it again. Nope, not happy with that. All right, come on. Beverage name. Yeah, that should be right. Why are you being silly with me right now? That's not going to work. Okay. Oh, aha, I see. Okay. Store dot filter taps. There we go. Okay. There we go. So let's try it out. Rev. Okay. Cool. Oh, I see. I think I was looking at the wrong name, but okay. Okay, so like Sparkle, that's what it is. It's looking at this right here, Sparkle Muffin. Cool. Okay, so that one's working, and let's go real quick, fix up our slider over here so that the default value is going to be the, let's see, the alcohol level, and then we're going to have an on change, which takes a new value and just sets the alcohol level to that value. Let's try that out. Oh, look at that. That's so fast and so cool. Okay, cool. So we're halfway to home. Now all we gotta do is implement this added cart functionality. Let's go do that. All right. So I'm going to make one more one called add to cart. And it's going to take a beverage. And I'm just going to push into the cart. Star.cart.push. And I mean, the great thing about Valtio is, I mean, you just use it like you would a normal variable. There's no actions and reducers and all of that kerfuffle. Like, you don't need any of that. Okay, so back over here in beverage card, we've got our add to cart. So again, we need to bring in the store and add to cart. Oh, that's nice. And we need to add to cart whatever I'm looking at. So on click, adds to cart, the beverage, which is a prop. There you go. And then over in the cart, I just need to show it. So again, let's go and bring in the store. Let's go and bring in use Redux, or use Redux. Nice. It's a little weird, right? Okay. And then we'll bring in the cart from the store. Cool. Okay. So let's see. Can I add to cart now? Oh my gosh. Yes, I can. And this should get rid of everything. So let's just implement that real quick. And you know what? Another cool thing I can do is I can just go and literally just set the store right away. So I can just say, when you do checkout, set the cart to an empty array. Oh wait, hold on. There you go. If I get my TS correct, there we go. So let's add a few things to the cart and then checkout, and there you go. Nice. Yeah, I'll have to remember that, Robot. That's good. Module federation is to Micro-Frontends as Redux is to React state management. It's one way to do it. Okay. I wouldn't use Redux because I think Redux is got some reputational problems nowadays, but, you know, maybe something simpler like MobX or something like that, or Valtio. What other uses is MF used for? So one thing that's overlooked when it comes to module federation is that you can use it for any type of JavaScript. You don't have to use it for, it doesn't have to be components. It can be anything. Yeah. So like imagine like, I don't know, logic code, you could reuse that for that. All right. So let's go find my starter kit for WP5 and React. And I'm going to go use that. The inventor of Redux counsels against using Redux. Yes, exactly. Okay. So next thing we're going to do is we're going to create a new vanilla application that's got nothing in it. And I'm not sure. I would have rather I did side by side. So let me get rid of this. There we go. Go back up a directory. We'll use npx dgit again. I think this is one on main. And we're going to call it React host. Okay, cool. Let's go into React host and yarn it up. Oh, yeah, that's fine. Let's yarn it up. And I do have to make one change before I can even run it because it's on the same port. All right, so first off, I'm going to go over to Webpack. I'm going to change that to 8081. And that's all I'm going to do. I'm just going to fire it up just so it doesn't, it doesn't collide. Okay, so now we've got our Webpack 5 looking good. So basic vanilla app. And what we want to do is we want to get those components from here into here, right? And we don't want to use npm. We don't want to use bit. We don't want to use any of that. We just want to go and bring those in with module federation. So how are we going to do that? Well, the first thing we need to do is go over here to the Webpack config and go down to module federation plugin. And let's see what we got. We got a name, which isn't quite right. We're going to call it growlers. And this is actually, by the way, Vishal, this is probably where your issues are with your React testing library, because what's happening here is, so there's this deps, and deps is actually just the package JSON dot dependencies, right? So I don't know. Don't get me started, Modine, about YouTube recommendation engines. So this is all of dependencies. And so I define by, okay, yeah, wow, that's actually cool. So you can kind of see what it's doing here. So by default, it's going to bring in chakra, emotion style, framer, React DOM, all of that. So just make sure that whatever you're putting into this shared is whatever you actually want to share between those applications. Now, the first thing that we need to do is we need to expose the components we want. So we want taps, right? And that's under source taps, or source component taps, components taps. There you go. And we want all of those. So we want taps. And we want search. And we want cart. And then because we have to do that load thing, just to tell it who we are, we need the store. All we're going to use from that is load, though. And so what's going to happen is, so if I go, okay, right now, if I go here and I go to /remote-entry.js, nothing comes up. And now if I rerun this, and I do that same thing, remote entry, aha, now we can see that the moment that I've exposed something out of my module federation, I've got apps, I've got, let's see, there's chakra in there, there's everything that's being exported by the application is now in this map of stuff that's going to be consumed then by this guy over here in, Webpack, in this Webpack 5 starter kit. So how do we do that? Well, so over here in our React host, we're going to go down here and we're going to say that this is the React host. You can call it whatever you want. We're going to set up that there's a remote called Growlers, and its name is Growlers. So that's, you can call this whatever you want. You can call this, Dubalaki. That's fine, but this name over here, Growlers, needs to match whatever this guy is, right? And then after that, you give it the URL, localhost 8080 remote entry. Okay. Let's look again. I think the issue is importing the module from the remote test render, shallow render dependencies are fine, as both have. Well, yeah, but you shouldn't be exporting any of that. You shouldn't expose React testing library between the two, right? You shouldn't expose any dev dependencies at all. Yeah, cool. Okay, so now we've got our growlers, and we want, this is another time we need to restart. Let's go restart. And it's going to work because we're not actually doing anything with that yet. So there we go. And then in the source, all I really need to do is, let's see, I'm going to bring in taps first because they're the coolest. And I just import taps from Growlers taps. And I'm going to import the store from Growlers store. And the reason I have to do that, well, actually, I'm just going to import load from that. And then I'm going to load the Happy Valley tap list, just like we did before. Let's see, is it still working? Still working. Cool. And let's see. Let's bring in taps. Oh, that's cool, right? So there you go. So now I've got this, I've got the tap list that's working across all these. That's great. And yeah, so the next thing to do is to fix all our formatting here. And the reason that we got to problem with the formatting is that Growlers is depending on the Chakra UI, and it's also the Chakra UI stuff is depending on having a provider. So that is one thing that I need to synchronize between these two React applications. If you're going to use a toolkit, like a React toolkit, like a Material or Chakra or React Strap or whatever it is you got, if you're going to go and share those, then they got to actually do that. So let's go and bring in real quick Chakra. By the way, I'm going to totally run over time on this. No, you don't need import. Okay, let me get there, because I think actually that's a cool one as well. You can totally use Suspense and React Lazy, but you don't have to. But it is, I would say, safer. And the reason being, like, if you don't use that, then if that import of the script tag fails, then you don't have a fallback. And actually, there's I did a video a while back called Building Resilient Header that actually uses Module Federation to grab the header, to share headers between two applications. But if it fails, and to do that, you use a suspense and a fallback, it then loads the NPM version of the library. So, all right, so let's start this guy up again now that I've added Chakra. But I haven't actually used Chakra yet, so it still looks just as bad. So let's go and bring in the Chakra provider. Why that is such a weird behavior. Okay, so do the Chakra provider. And wow, yeah, nice. Okay, so now we're getting it. Now it starts looking, it's looking right. So yes, in a way, you do need a provider between those two, but it's the UI toolkit provider. It's not a data provider. So let's go and format this up real quick, and I'm just going to go and create a grid here. Have the grid display grid template columns. I don't know. Let's see, 1FR and 5FR, something big and wide like that. Give it a column gap. Okay, column gap. There we go. Is that deprecated? I don't know. Okay, so the first column is going to have the search and the cart. And then the next one, and then the whole second column is going to be the tabs. And so the way to make this work is I just got to bring in search and cart. Okay, here we go. Nice. There you go. Right. Okay. So here we go. And again, all of these components are working together, right? And let me go back over to the original app, the Growlers app. And there's a cute little thing I can do in here. I can tweak this constant, and that'll add that dash red border around stuff. And so I saved it there. Now, if we go back over to Growlers, right, it's got all the dash red stuff on it because it did a hot refresh. And then over here, the moment that I do a refresh, I pick that up. So it's absolutely live coding, live sharing between these two applications. And so in production, when this guy deploys, this guy over here will automatically pick that up. All right. Future of Angular, what do you think about it? Oh, wow. Too much hype on React. Okay. I don't know about that. And also, let's see. So just make sure the add to cart works. Yep. Everything here works great. So because we're running light on time, I'm going to concentrate on this thing that I think is really interesting and unique, as opposed to the vanilla stuff. I think vanilla is cool, and integrating this into a vanilla application is great. But I do think that the data provider stuff that I did was even cooler. So I want to kind of concentrate on that. So just because I'm a little, I'm just going to put a little padding on that because that makes it look nicer. Okay, cool. So what I want to do is integrate my React host into this data flow, right? When can I get hot reloading between MFEs? I don't know, actually. That's a good question. Is it necessary? I mean, it's like it's a great thing for dev, but I'm not sure it's not really a great thing for production. Okay. So I'm going to create a new component, and I'm going to call it data provider, TSX. And I'm going to go over here to, let's see, what's a good one to work off of? Let's say that. So, oh no, actually, how about taps? This is nice and small. Okay. So I don't need a beverage card. I don't need any kind of styling. I just need the store and use proxy. And so I'm going to get all of the state. And this guy's going to take children. But in this case, children is not going to be any React elements. It instead is going to be a component or a function that takes a state, I store in this case. And I'm going to have to bring that in from here, I store, and it probably isn't exported. So let me go and expose that. Okay. And it's just going to go and call children with the state and return the output of that. All right, it's not happy. Let me go and just, I think it's because it's TypeScript being a little prickly, but that's fine. Well, I'm going to call this data provider, and then I'm going to go and specify it that way. Let's see. We'll just, okay. I'll call this iStore again. There you go. And React element, I think, is output from React. Hey, cool. Okay, so let's go through this. So data provider is a React functional component, which takes a child function, which is given the state and returns some formatted something or other. So let's go over here to Webpack config one more time, and we will export that as well as everything else. Data provider. And we have to restart just on this side. Cool. Nice. And now let's go back over. Let's close a bunch of windows just because I'm getting a little lost there. And then over in our app, we're going to go and bring in data provider. And then we're going to use it somewhere else. So let's use it. Let's use it here. Down here, nice, div. Give it a data provider. And then for the child, we're going to give it. Let's see. It's going to be a function. It's going to take. Was it again alcohol level? And I'll just output that. So I'll say. I don't know. Okay, another span there. Level is alcohol level. Okay. Hey, oh my gosh, cool. So now watch this. So level is 10. So as I change this, check that out. That's super cool. So now as a consumer, right, of this. So let's say that my business, I'm in the tap list business. I'm in the business of being a B2B shop for these growler stores, and I give them, and they install my stuff at their location with connections to all the barrels and whatnot, and then they get the levels and everything, and I do all that data management, and then I give them a bunch of MFE components that they can then insert on their landing pages, right? So in this case, like the Happy Valley Growlers page, which is exactly what's happening here, right? So the tap list, but they use an iframe, which is bleh. Nobody likes iframes, right? So in this new model, that company, Happy Valley Growlers, can go and replace the iframe with these components. Really cool. And if they've got some ability to work JavaScript code, they can go and add on additional UI if they don't like the UI that's here, because everything that's in the store is going into this data provider. And I can go and format that however I want. I can go and say, okay, so I want to show all the filtered taps. And I want to go and, let's see, just pick off their names or something like that. Filtered taps, map, beverage name, and then just give some divs with the name. Not exactly hot formatting there, but see, there you go. Boom. And I can go and change that out. And I'm totally integrated into this cycle. In fact, if I wanted to, as a consumer, I could just replace cart, search, whatever, taps. I could replace it all with whatever I want as a UI, right? I don't have to use their off-the-shelf stuff. If I were to go and hire a really, really awesome TypeScript developer who had some ability to work with, TypeScript or JavaScript, honestly, and Webpack 5, then they could use this module federation system, bring in the code, and there you go. MFEs are iframes, but better. Way better. So I'm much more integrated, right? I mean, look at this, right? So as opposed to just having URL, right? I have access to all these components. They're all putting out, great UI, and I have this completely customizable data provider UI that I can then go and put any kind of look and feel I want onto it at all. So that's really cool. Okay, so wow, that was fast. I think I can. Shall we try the vanilla thing just to real quick? Let's go make a vanilla host and see if I can knock this out. So, okay, I'm gonna call this one vanilla host. So we have one more directory here, vanilla host. I'm gonna go into vanilla host. This is gonna be the third panel over here. Again, I got to change the port number, 8082. Let's yarn it up. How would we document that for a third party to use? I don't think there's any standard document. There is no standard for that, but I mean, I would definitely use like a README or something like that to show, or a starter kit. Definitely, I would have like a GitHub starter kit for that. Okay, so over here in vanilla host, I'm not sure if it really applies necessarily to like a taps business. I really doubt that any local bar is going to have like a JavaScript developer in it who's completely badass like that. But I mean, certainly in more of a corporate context, like if you're the product manager for Atlassian or something like that, and you wanted the ability for folks to be able to take like Jira stuff or whatever, and then inject it in another app, that's a perfectly valid use case. Burke asks, what about SSR? So actually, I just did a video last month on using this within the context of Next.js. Burke, I'll tell you honestly, it's a pain in the butt, but it works. It's just a pain because you got to have the code basically on disk somewhere where you can get it on startup. And there is a guy who's involved in the Module Federation project who's been working on a streaming extension where if you were to deploy the Module Federation code S3, you could stream it off of S3 into an SSR server, but it's not an out-of-the-box solution, and it's very alpha right now. So SSR is still problematic, but I gotta say SSR is just basically problematic in general. So I'm not gonna go too crazy on that. Okay, so if I want to do something in vanilla, how am I gonna do that? I'm gonna get rid of all this stuff so we don't actually use React, and then I'm gonna make let's just use that. So there's an app in there. Okay. And I'm going to remove React and React DOM because I don't need it. And I'll be honest, I don't think there's any really good SSR Micro-FE solution out there. Anyway, I think Single SPA does have it, or does support it in some ways, but it's just tough. Okay, so I'm just going to go take like the taps component and let's go make that vanilla. So I'm going to go over here and create a vanilla taps. And I'm going to use app for this as a starter. Whoa, hey now. Okay, app as a starter. So let's go under vanilla taps. Okay, so I need that. I need that. I need Chakra Provider. I need the taps. Everything else I can get rid of. I'm going to call this vanilla taps. It's amazing that I fit this into 30 minutes in the video. Okay, so let's go down here to taps. Okay, so that is an incredibly small thing. It's in the same directory. So there we go. So here we go. So we got React, we got React DOM, we got our Chakra Provider, we're going to bring in taps. We got vanilla taps, and there we go. But we don't want to do this unconditionally. So we want to go and have a function for this. It's going to take a selector. There's a string. And again, do return a void. And then we'll do a React DOM. But instead of getting element by ID, we're just going to get it by query selector with selector. Okay, cool. So that looks pretty good. So let's go over here to Webpack config. And one more time, we'll go and add that to the list of exposed items. Call that vanilla taps. Okay. Now we need to restart one more time. Okay, good. So let's go back over to our vanilla application and try it out. So let's go doot. And one thing I need is the remote. So let's go grab that, put it into here. Okay, we'll call this one vanilla host. And then in here, we're just going to import load from the store, Growler's store. We're going to import our vanilla, our create taps, I guess, from Growler's vanilla taps. We're going to load our HV tap list. And then we have a destination point for this app. Okay, so let's create our taps on hashtag app. All right, let's give it a go. I give this, I don't know, 70% chance of working. Bada bing, bada boom. Nice. And it works. And it's all styled. So we've got a vanilla version. We got a React version. We got the React host. So let's just see if it works by making that change to get rid of the MFE border. Cool. See, all right, there's the basic Growlers app. It hasn't updated over here. Let's try it. There we go. Now it's updated. And let's see it on vanilla. There you go. Nice. Awesome. Very cool. Burke, I've never heard of Hypernova. So you should join up on the Discord server and let me know. I'd love to hear about it. In the meantime, wow, this was a jam-packed hour. Thank you so much for all your awesome questions. And I'll be over on the Discord server after this. And if you want to talk to me directly and ask me any more questions that you want. But I really enjoyed doing this today. It's really fun and always happy to have you come by. So thank you so much. Bada bing, bada boom, right? Nice. Okay, see you and have a great rest of the weekend. And I'll see you next week. And I think it's gonna be a really fun video for Wednesday as well. So keep an eye out for that. All right. Have a great day. Be good, be happy, be healthy, be safe, all that. Bye.